Hello everyone and welcome back to day 48 of our Jewel Cichlid fry journey. We are now 6 weeks and 6 days in, and the tank has entered a whole new chapter. What started as playful energy has now turned into real competition. The fry are no longer just surviving, they are establishing territory, testing dominance, and showing us the very first signs of their adult instincts. So, today we are going to explore growth updates and size differences, feeding rivalries, the rise of territories and mock battles, the changing role of parents, and what all this means for you, the fish keeper. So let's begin by taking a look at the growth of these fry. So by day 48, the growth differences among the fry are crystal clear. The largest fry are sleek, quick, and bold. They dart across the tank with confidence, snatching food and patrolling small spaces as if they own them. The smaller fry, on the other hand, still linger near the edges. They are more cautious, slower, and often waiting until the frenzy dies down before joining in. Now, under good lighting, you can catch tiny sparks of color, a bit of reds, oranges, and shimmering blues. These are just hints of the jewel cichlid's brilliant adult appearance. Think of it like a school classroom. Some students are always at the front, raising their hands first. Others prefer to sit quietly, absorbing everything from the sidelines. Both are learning, but their styles and outcomes are very different. Now, we also see that there are social hierarchies that are emerging, and this is where things get very fascinating. The fry are now establishing hierarchies, a natural pecking order. So some fry rush forward at feeding time, nudging others aside. A few are beginning to claim tiny territories, hovering over sand patches and the corners of the tank. Others take on the role of followers, hanging back and adapting by feeding later or staying in the safer spaces. So, what looks like playful chases is actually serious practice for adulthood. So, jewel cichlids are naturally territorial fish, and what we are seeing now is the foundation of that behavior. Now, feeding time is no longer just about survival, it's about strategy and dominance. So the bold fry grab food instantly, sometimes blocking others from getting near. Timid fry use clever tactics. They quick dart and dash, and they try to move in very quickly, or sometimes they just wait for the chaos to settle. Some fry even appear to practice defensive feeding, claiming a patch of food and keeping rivals out. But here's the challenge: the bold fry eat more, grow faster, and get stronger. The timid fry, while still surviving, can fall further behind. And here's a pro tip for all fish keepers: scatter food across the tank instead of dropping it in one spot. In this way, the dominant fry don't monopolize the feeding, and therefore multiple feeding points also reduce stress and ensure that even the shyest fry get their share. Now by day 48, the tank is also alive with territorial practice. So fry hover over certain areas of the tank. Sometimes we see quick bursts of chasing, and these are very common. Also, sometimes you'll find tiny mock battles that rarely escalate into harm. Now, these encounters aren't random, they are just rehearsals for adulthood when the territory defense will be essential. So, it's like children playing in the yard, you know, they're having fun but also they are learning some important life lessons for the future. So these fry are also training themselves to handle conflict, to also test their strength and also assert their dominance. Now, having spoken about the fry so much, what about the parents? You may wonder. So we see that their role has shifted once again. So early on, they hovered protectively, guarding every corner. But by day 48, they've stepped back even further. And we see that they may still patrol the tank now and then, but they're more like distant supervisors than active guardians. Occasionally, they also may nudge Fry away. And this is a subtle signal that it's time to handle life independently. So, just like human parents easing their teenagers into adulthood, dual cichlid parents also know when to let go. And it can also be that these parents are preparing for the next spawn. So, within a next few days, it will be time for us to separate these fry from the parents. Now, you may wonder what is your role as a fish keeper. Now, this is where your responsibility comes in. So, as the fry grow and as hierarchies sharpen, your role is to maintain balance without disrupting the natural behavior. And here are some key steps. First is to feed smaller amounts more often, and this will give every fry a chance to eat. Secondly, you'll also see you need to scatter food in multiple places. Thirdly, also monitor the smallest fry. So if you're consistently losing out, consider a separate grow out tank and keep water quality pristine. More feeding means more waste, and that means more stress if the water quality is not managed. So, in many ways, you are now the referee, allowing natural behavior while ensuring fairness. So, what have we learned at day 48? So, growth gaps are wider than ever. Social hierarchies are taking shape. So, you have leaders, followers, and challenges. Feeding is a competition now, shaping future outcomes. Also, you have territories and mock battles are now part of daily life. Parents are stepping back, leaving Fry to rely on themselves. And the keeper is playing a balancing role, supporting both growth at the same time also reducing the stress among the fry and the parents. So looking forward, these rivalries will only grow sharper. The fry aren't just maturing physically, they are also learning the rules of social survival. So soon you may need to consider larger spaces or even separating groups to prevent serious conflict. So, what would you do? Would you separate your fry to reduce competition, or would you allow them to naturally develop their own hierarchies? Do let us know that in the comments. So, that wraps up our day 48 update of our dual cichlid fry. Thank you for joining me today. If you have been enjoying these daily updates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so that you don't miss day 49, where we'll track how these hierarchies intensify and what it means for the future of these young jewel cichlids. Until then, happy fish keeping.